Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another Facebook Live with me, Shalini Joshi Amdagni. And if you are new here and you're here for the first time, I am an international physical and emotional pain relief expert. My name is Shalini Joshi Amdagni, and I am doing Facebook Live every Thursday at 11 o'clock, like right now, and I'm so glad that you're joining me. Sulinya, hi Ram. So welcome to another Facebook Live, and this topic today is cracking the chronic pain code, and it's a topic that's really dear to me. It's very close to me, and so I'm guessing that if you are here by fluke, well, that's the topic. And if you are here and you read the topic that I posted earlier, that means maybe you or someone you know has been in chronic pain or is suffering from chronic pain. And maybe you are here to get some tips or see what the heck this is all about. And so just a little bit about me. So, you know, you have, if you're new here, what gives me the confidence, and why should you listen to me? Because definitely I am not a doctor, but I have healed myself from chronic pain, which had confined me to bed rest indefinitely almost 11 years ago. And I've been on this journey for 11 years, and I healed myself out of my chronic pain, and I've worked with thousands of others over the course of 11 years. And so I know a few things about chronic pain, and that's why this is a very dear topic to me. And thank you for joining me. So if you're joining me live, I want to welcome you. Hi, Isabel. Yay, you're back. So nice to see you. Hi, Van Vali. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you so much for joining me. And today is all about cracking the, I hope you can see this, okay? Cracking the chronic pain code and healing the pain for good. Okay, so in the past, well, quickly, let me just share with you what I'm going to be sharing with you today, just so you know. Okay, so I'm going to share with you what doctors will not tell you about your chronic pain. Either they won't tell you or they don't know it themselves. Okay. And I'm going to be sharing with you some tips to decode your chronic pain. I'm going to be sharing with you some key questions that you need to ask yourself so that you can become aware of what's the real deal with your chronic pain, okay? And also I'm going to be sharing with you my all-time favorite tool, EFT. If you've been following me, you know about this. If you haven't been following me, well, I'm going to be sharing with you about EFT, so stay tuned. Okay, so a lot of people, over the course of 11 years, and I, as I said, I have been in chronic pain myself as well. So a lot of the times when you are in chronic pain, and if you are, hey, if you don't mind, let me know if you are in chronic pain. Anyone here? Hi, Yukiko. Thank you for joining. I'm so glad you're here. So if you are in chronic pain, just write chronic pain in the comments below so I know you're someone with chronic pain. But if you are in chronic pain and have been, dealing with it or know someone's dealing with it, you know that, you go to the doctor and you get diagnosed with whatever disease because of which you may have chronic pain, or maybe you had an accident and because of that you are in pain. But if you have been going to the doc for a while, right, and you've been getting the pain medications and you've been trying all these things, okay, all of these things, oopsie, there we go. Okay. Physiotherapy, I don't know if it's the light is too strong, but physiotherapy, ultrasound therapy, hot packs, cold packs, rib support, neck support, those support belts that you get, or you've been changing your mattress and you've been changing the right pillows. Remember those pillows, those expensive pillows? That might help a little bit. But if you've been trying all those things and you're still not getting the relief that you want, and you're really frustrated, right? You're wondering what's going on. And a lot of the times people will say, you know, my doctor doesn't know what's going on with me anymore. Or they'll say, you know, I just have to live with these medications. I just have to use medication for life because I have to live with this pain. And I can tell you that I was there as well. I was exactly in that situation myself. And the doctors will tell you that maybe there is some stress behind it. My doctors didn't. They just couldn't figure out what was going on with you. So a lot of the doctors will tell you to try the different pills, different medications, stronger medications, injections. And you know what's the most common thing that they say when they've suggested everything and nothing's worked, and the patient is, you know, they just keep going back to them? They say, well, you can try surgery. And here's the thing, I know lots of people who've tried surgery and the pain goes nowhere. It may go away for a while, but then it comes back and they think it's a relapse of sorts, but it really didn't go away. Okay, hi Nalini, hi Ashu, hi Patricia. Thank you so much everyone for joining live. I know most people watch this on the replay. So we're talking about common things that people in chronic pain go through, and they keep trying all kinds of different things, and they tell me, you know, my doctor doesn't know what's going on. I think I just have to live with this pain. You know, it's a structural thing. I had an accident, I had a fall, it's a technical thing, and so I just have to live with this pain. And I'm here to tell you, you really don't have to live with this pain, that there is a way out. And so I'm going to be sharing with you next tips. Number 2 is tips to decode your chronic pain. Now, you know, most of the people, when we think of chronic pain, we think that something physical is going on with me, right? It's a physical pain. You can feel it physically. It's on my back, it's a sharp pain, it's a dull pain, you can describe it because that's how you're feeling it physically. And so what most people do is they try to find physical solutions out there, right? Whether it's all those things that I mentioned earlier, acupuncture, hot pack, cold pack, there are things out there because we think, hey, this is a physical pain and I need to fix it with something out there, right? And so we go on a rampage of trying all kinds of different things. But here's what I've discovered over the last 11 years, healing myself out of my chronic pain, which had me confined to bed rest forever. And of course, the option of surgery was always suggested by the docs to me. And also working with like thousands of people, is that your chronic pain, chronic pain is quite complex. Now, before I step into it, I wanted to share with you what is acute pain and what is chronic pain. Okay, acute pain is really, it's a sharp pain. It doesn't last very long. Maybe you bumped into something. Maybe you fell and scraped your knee. And so those are acute pains. And as soon as the wound heals, it's gone. It's short term. But chronic pain is something that just goes on and on and on, and the wound is healed, and it's been like a long time, and maybe it's going on for 6 months. I know people who've had it for 2-3 decades. They say, I've had it as long as I can remember. That is chronic pain. And chronic pain is far more complex than acute pain, okay? Chronic pain is like onion. It has so many layers to it that, you have to address all the different layers to actually get lasting relief. So it's far more complex than acute pain. And so when we try to decode the chronic pain code, we need to look at the different layers. And these are not layers outside of you, but these are layers inside of you, okay? So chronic pain, the first thing is that it's not about what's going on outside of you. Pain is simply a message about what's going on inside of you, okay? It's the pain that you are consciously or subconsciously you've been holding on to, or you don't even know you're holding on to it, but it's there inside of you. And so one of the things that you want to address is that emotional stuff. And so when we look at this complex process of decoding chronic pain, okay, so maybe there was a physical event that started this pain for you. You need to address that physical event. For example, I had a client who had been diagnosed with some disease, right? And because of an injury. And so he was really upset about that incident, okay, that physical incident, because he was so angry. Why wasn't I careful enough? Why didn't I, why was I being so irresponsible? So whatever happened, maybe you had an accident, car accident, maybe, you twisted your foot on as you were walking on the street. There are so many stories, and people get angry at themselves, like, why couldn't I have been more careful? So there is this physical event or experience. Maybe the physical event was very traumatic. It was a car accident. I had a client who had a head-on accident with a truck. She was driving a car, and people were seriously injured in the car. And so she had so much guilt and shame and, just anger at herself for driving and not being more careful. So what was this physical event? So you need to address if there was a physical event, right? Sometimes there are no physical events. And for me, I thought that the physical event for me was I overdid my abs exercises in the gym, okay? So I thought, why the heck did I over-exercise? Like, why couldn't I be in balance? Why couldn't I have just stopped? Why did I have to push myself harder? And look what I've done to myself. So, there is a physical event, a traumatic physical event, or a painful physical event that happened. That needs to be addressed, okay? And then there is the emotional experience, okay? Maybe there is a lot of, you've had a lot of, not a lot of, but maybe there's been some really traumatic emotional experience, okay? I can't think of anything. Okay, let's say, that you really, for example, me, I hated my job. I so hated my job 11 years ago that I always felt suffocated. Like, I can't breathe. I can't go to this job anymore. And my life back then was very stressful, right? I didn't like my job. I hated my job. I was feeling very disconnected with myself. I was feeling very edgy in my relationships. And so I want you to think about what are some of the emotional events, okay? There could have been a divorce. There could have been a loss, okay? There could have been someone close to you that went through a very serious illness. Maybe they didn't survive. I had a client whose sister went through cancer and didn't survive, and she had a lot of, that incident was, it really stayed with her, and she had a lot of emotion about it. I had a client who lost her father by accident. He had an accident and she died, and she explained to me, she says, Shalini, my life is divided into two. one is before my dad died, and one is after my dad died. So you can imagine the extent to which this experience impacted her. Okay, so what are those emotional events that come to your mind that really had an emotional impact on you? I hope you're getting what I'm saying. Hi, BJ. Hi, Papa. Hi, guys. So what are the emotional experiences that you had? What are some key emotional events? And these key emotional events, if you think of your mind and heart like an emotional forest, the key emotional events would be the redwoods. Those tall trees. Because we all have little trees, right? We all have emotional things going on every single day in our lives. But what are those tall trees? Because they have a lot of charge in them. They have a lot of pain, a lot of anger. They have a lot of, all those emotions. And that's the pain that you are storing inside of you. And your body is sending you messages about what pain you are holding on to. I hope you're, following along. Chronic stress. So maybe you didn't have any of those tall, redwoods in your emotional forest. Maybe you didn't have anything big happen, but there is a chronic state of stress. Maybe it's the job. Okay, maybe it's an ongoing stress about a relationship. Maybe you have ongoing stress about money. Maybe you have ongoing stress about children. Maybe you have ongoing stress about something about yourself. Maybe you don't feel confident enough. And so it always keeps you from doing this and this and this. Maybe you have chronic anxiety. Okay, so what is this thing that is chronically there with you every other day, every single day? How would you describe your day to day? Is it a lot of stress day to day? Then eventually it adds up and it becomes chronic stress. Okay, so this is a little bit different. It's a little different from these peak emotional events that we have, negative peak emotional events. That's different from chronic stress. So so I'm sharing with you, why am I sharing all these different things with you? Well, I'm trying to explain to you the different layers of chronic pain. Okay, it's a complex, it's not a simple thing like acute pain. And that's why. And so one of the most important things to address when you are in chronic pain is unresolved, unprocessed, or repressed childhood emotional memories. Unfortunately, most of our issues today stem from these childhood memories, these childhood experiences. They are the basis, they are the root from which everything grows. So in fact, they say by the time between 0 to 7 years of age, you already have a foundation. So in case you had an experience in your childhood where your parents were fighting, or they got divorced, or you had physical abuse, or you had sexual abuse, or there was unpleasant experiences that happened in your childhood. And I'm not saying that's the only, these are some of the experiences, but if you had negative emotional experiences that deeply impacted you, okay, then you need to address that, because you may have heard that in order to change the fruits that you're getting in your life, you need to work on the roots. And if the roots are sort of infected with negative emotional stuff, then the fruits will not be, will not be the best that they can be, and you will experience some sort of imbalance in your life. So going back to childhood issues, I know a client of mine who, and it may not be traumatic. It doesn't have to be sexual abuse. It doesn't have to be, some death of a parent or divorce of parents. It could be, that I had a client, well, her parents were always fighting, and, she, when she was at school, she was in the nursery, she was 3 years old, and yes, she could remember it. She said that, Shalini, I was always the last person to leave school. She would wait at the gate with some teachers, because then she would be the only one waiting, and there would be a teacher that would wait with her, and she would have to wait for either of the parent to come and pick her up, right? And she was always, always, always the last one. And she had so much anxiety about that, because she was thinking, are they going to come and pick me up today? Are they going to come and pick me up today? I'm just giving you an example of one of the things that a client of mine went through. It seems so simple, and it seems like this shouldn't be a problem at all. Like, okay, so it happened and it's past and it's gone. Why should that have any effect on me today having chronic pain? Oh my God. Not only is it going to affect all that, because it's built up anxiety. You're always anxious. You're growing up, and the seeds of anxiety are being sown within. And so now that she's in relationships, she's an adult, she's having the same experience with her boyfriend. Okay? So not only is it showing up as chronic pain, but she has a lot of anxiety, and she has all this anxiety showing up in her work, in her relationship with her boyfriend, and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to share with you that childhood experiences have a really, really crucial role in what happens, in how you are operating today as an adult, and what you're feeling, and the imbalances that you have. There's lots that is connected with what was going on back when you were a child. Okay, I hope this is helping. So releasing negative emotions, another layer of healing and cracking chronic pain code and healing it, is addressing and releasing negative emotions. Now, one of the, over the 11 years, I've discovered there are some core feelings that are almost directly associated with chronic pain. Are you ready? Fear, anger, guilt. 3 core ones that I believe are really at the core of what's going on. So if you're holding on to a lot of anger about something, okay, if you have a lot of guilt about, some situations, some issues, and if you have a lot of fear, okay, other emotions are resentment, jealousy. So these are basically, these underlying emotions that are causing, or are one of the causes of chronic pain. And you'll say, but I don't know, what fears I have. I don't know if I'm holding on to anger. And, at the top of my head, I wouldn't either, right? So this is something you need to do some soul searching about. You need to be, create some quiet time if you really want to heal chronic pain from its core, so that you can experience lasting relief for good. You need to do this process, okay? You need to sit with yourself and say, who am I pissed at? What are the situations where I felt a lot of guilt in my life? What are those situations where I felt a lot of fear in my life? I had a client who was, sexually, abused by a random guy consistently. And she had a lot of fear. And if you know people who have a lot of fear, they have like these weird anxiety symptoms, like they keep doing something, like keep plucking their hair or keep chewing their nails. There is a lot of anxiety, and that's based because there was a lot of fear at some point in their lives. Okay, so what is the fear? What is the guilt? What is the anger? You need to, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Take time to address these deeper layers of chronic pain. Because if you want, relief, lasting relief, this is a very important thing, a process to do. And lastly, it's a little bit similar to the chronic stress, but I'm talking about daily stress. Okay, daily stress, you need to address daily stress as well. This is, every single day of your life, you go to meetings, you have like this whole day where, like for me, I have kids, they have exams going on very soon, and so they're studying for tests. My son had 2 tests today, so there's a stress about that. Maybe you're stressed about work, maybe you're stressed about clients, maybe you're stressed about money, and it's a daily thing. It's not something heavy, and they're not like those heavy duty layers, but it's interesting how we take time every single day to take a shower, to brush the teeth, to wash our hands, to wash the face, to clean our bodies, but we don't take time to clear out and release the daily stress, the daily upset, the daily overwhelm, the daily angers. You got pissed at somebody, or you felt guilty about something, or you felt frustrated, or maybe you felt overwhelmed. So these are daily things, and eventually the daily stuff adds up. Imagine if you didn't, have a shower for 10 days, or if you didn't brush your teeth for 2 weeks, or if you didn't wash your hands for a month. Layers of dust and debris and muck would collect, and you would stink, and it would not be fun to function at your peak. And so daily stress is also a very important part, because if something is stressing you every day and you're not addressing it, it's going to add to that layer of chronic pain. Okay, so once again, recapping, to actually decode the chronic pain code, you need to address the physical event that started it all. Okay, you need to address emotional events, the tall emotional redwoods in the forest that stand out, that had an impact on you. Maybe it was one incident, maybe it was many different incidents at different points in your life. I tell clients, to break up their life, their phase of in different phases, 0 to 10 years of age, 10 to 20 years of age, 20 to 30 years of age, and so on, and see what are the peak upsetting incidents that happened. Okay, so those are the emotional events at different phases. Maybe school, maybe marriage, maybe when you had kids, maybe it was about work. So what are the key emotional events that stand out, that had a huge impact on you? Chronic stress is something that are going on in your life that are stressful like every other day. Maybe it's a relationship with a spouse, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a self-confidence issues, maybe it's anxiety. I don't know what the chronic stress is that needs to be addressed. Okay, it is very much related to the chronic pain that you have. And childhood experiences, way back when you were a kid, 0 to 10 years maybe, what were some of the stresses? What did you go through? Was there a divorce? Was there constant bickering amongst parents? Was there constant comparison? I had a client who had not been ever appreciated by his dad, and it was always, if he came up with some amazing thing that he had done, the father would just say, oh, but you could have done it this way and that would be even better. So it was never feeling loved, never feeling appreciated. And that was a childhood experience. It wasn't a big trauma, but that was really upsetting for him. Releasing negative emotions like fear, guilt, fear, guilt, anger, resentment. These are some of the core feelings. And feelings of unforgiveness. When you hate someone, when you find it really hard to forgive someone. Louise Hay, who died last year and who was the queen of healing, said 80% of our aches and pains and illnesses come from a place of unforgiveness. When we don't want to forgive, we hold on to that anger and the pain and the resentment, and we create dis-ease for ourselves. Hi Just, hi Ramneet, hi Graham, hi Sanjeev. Just says, I woke up in Holland here and watching you with my 1-year-old son. Yay! So happy. Just has done some tapping with me. So nice to have you here, Just. So, and another one is, of course, releasing these negative emotions and the daily stresses. Okay, so I hope you're getting this. And what I also want to equip you with is questions that can help you decode this pain. So some of the things, that you can ask yourself, okay, as you are looking at all these different layers of chronic pain. Here we go. So you can ask yourself, what pain in my life am I ignoring? We all like to push away things that feel painful, that feel unpleasant. We don't want to deal with it, right? And we just want to move forward. Let's be positive and move forward and just ignore this thing. And unfortunately, it's great to be positive, but if you keep hiding something unpleasant, unhappy under the carpet, over time, it's going to start, poking its ugly head up until you'll be forced to notice it. So you ask yourself, what is the pain in my life that I have been ignoring? Is it a relationship pain? Is it, is it a job pain? Okay. And which area of my life feels painful? Exactly what I'm saying. So is it my work that feels painful for me? Work was a big part of the pain that I was tolerating. I said, Shalini, just live with this pain. Just live with this unhappy job. You have a great husband. You have great kids. Just tolerate this job, which I felt so unhappy in. But, I was just tolerating that pain. And there was a lot more, but that was something I was tolerating in my life. So one of the things you can ask yourself is, what pain am I tolerating? What is the pain that I'm tolerating? Am I tolerating an abusive relationship in a marriage? Am I tolerating not being able to express myself the way I want to express myself? That's huge. When you always have to follow other people's norms and principles and the way they think they like you to behave, but you can't do what you really feel and want to do, that's painful. That's suffocating. And that causes chronic pain too. So am I holding on to fear, guilt, resentment, against someone, towards someone? Some more questions. So these are just, alternate ways to address the same complex layers that I was talking about. Here's an interesting one. If there was an emotion behind my pain, what would that be? What would that emotion be? It confuses people when I ask my clients this question, like, what? This is a physical pain. Yeah, but if just imagine if there was an emotion, and usually they'll say fear, they'll say anger, they'll say sadness. But mostly it's fear or anger. That's what they're feeling, okay? And the other question is, ask yourself, am I feeling joy? Am I feeling connection in my life, in my relationships, in my work, okay? In my family? Do I feel a connection, or do I feel disconnected? Or do I feel like I'm suffocating? Or do I feel like I'm living my life like a robot? I just have a very robotic way of doing things. I'm not feeling joy. I'm not feeling inspiration. I feel like I'm drifting away. I feel like they don't understand me. I feel alone. All of those things, okay, that say you are not enjoying your experience. And so these are certain questions that will help you, go deeper, because chronic pain is not something you can address at the surface level, which you may have realized if you have been in chronic pain and trying to, help yourself. The problem is that you have been moving forward in the wrong direction. You need to move inward and address all those deeper pain layers that you may not even be aware that you have them. You might say, Shalini, it happened so long ago, I don't even think about it. It doesn't even bother me. I'm over it. I've made peace with it. I've forgiven, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And I have a question for you. If that's your response, I'm asking you, why do you have chronic pain then? Okay. If you have chronic pain, then you still have layers of emotional pain that really need to be addressed. So what I want to share with you is my all-time favorite tool, emotional freedom techniques. It's such a self-explanatory technique. Emotional freedom from all this emotional stuff that we're holding on to. And it's EFT, it's also known as EFT, emotional freedom techniques. It's also called tapping, because it's a mix of modern psychology and acupuncture. So if you're familiar with acupuncture, which I think you might be if you're in chronic pain, you may have tried acupuncture. In acupuncture, you stick needles on different key acupressure points on the body, and you stick and you stimulate a current which makes the needles move, and it clears out the energy. And emotional freedom technique is a mix between modern psychology and acupuncture, so that you're tuning in to the emotional landscape. You're tuning into what's going on with you emotionally, and then with fingertips, you're tapping on these key acupressure points, just like I'm doing it right now. Really easy. You can do it anytime, anywhere. And so emotional freedom techniques is what I have used in my life to free myself of my disease, of my chronic pain, and I've helped thousands of others with all kinds of diseases and chronic pain to be free. And all you have to do is you think about what's upsetting you, you think about what's making you angry, you think about what's making you feel jealous or resentful, or you have all these upsetting upsetting experiences. As you tune into them, you tap gently on these key acupressure points, okay? And what happens is that it clears out this emotional traffic jam, because emotions are energy in motion, right? Emotions are energy that is in motion. Emotions are like waves, right? They are flowing. And so when you have bottled emotions because of past events, chronic stress, childhood issues, daily stress, and all of that stuff, then you have bottled emotions. And when the emotions are bottled, they're not flowing, you get stuck energy. And so when you tune into these bottled emotions and you start stimulating the acupressure points on your body, then the energy is cleared and you get back into flow. And when your energy system is flowing like it should, when it's in balance, then you have no dis-ease or pain, because your body's cells and everything is restored to its natural state of flow and balance. And if you want to know more about how to use EFT, I have, you can go to EFTthailand.com. Okay, basically it's EFTthailand.com, and I'm also going to put a link up on this Facebook page, on this just above the on the link. And if you feel like this is too overwhelming for you, and if you feel like you are feeling like I can't do this on my own, I need to get support, I need someone to guide me through this because I feel like I can't get to these deeper layers of emotions, then please feel free to fill in the form that's going to be on the link above. And what we'll do is that you and I will have a one-on-one, what I call a discovery session, in which you will share with me your specific chronic pain, whether it's a lower back pain, whether it's a neck pain, whether it's a shoulder pain, whether it's a disease that's causing a pain, whatever the case may be. And we will have a conversation in which I will help you, identify your root issues, and what next steps you can take to address that chronic pain, and maybe explore if it's a good fit for us to work together. So if that is something you're looking for, I'm welcoming you to, fill out the link above. It's a form, and just fill it out and send it to me, and then I will arrange for a one-on-one conversation with you to help you identify what's really going on with your specific chronic pain. But I hope this sharing has helped you better understand why you may be still stuck in chronic pain, or why people stay stuck in chronic pain, and what is the deal with chronic pain, and how you can begin to address the deeper complex layers of chronic pain so that you can achieve lasting relief. And I'm sharing with you a tool, EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, that you can use to address these deeper layers of emotional pain. And as you begin to release and clear out these bottled emotions, the energy starts to flow, and you begin to feel better, and you feel a huge, significant reduction in your pain levels, and over time the pain is completely gone, and you can move forward with your life feeling free, feeling light, feeling clarity, and creating the life that you want. So thank you so much for joining me. Hi Ronelle, hi David, hi Rajiv, hi Anupam. Thank you for joining. I'm trying to look at the other comments, but I can't scroll. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, feel free to message me on Facebook. And if you are interested in having a one-on-one conversation, feel free to fill out the link above. And I will see you next week, same time, with another topic. Thank you for joining. Bye, guys. Bye for now.